organizations, venture funds, accelerators, business incubators, and of course, startups. I'm in the beginning of the event would like to express our deepest appreciation and thanks to EBRD for this initiative to organize the event, to discuss it, because indeed the subject is very important for Uzbekistan, taking into account recent steps that have been done by political management of Uzbekistan, by government, by different types of decisions of President of Uzbekistan. And I think that it will be very useful for all of us to listen to current status, development prospects of startup ecosystem in our country, and also to review the survey that you have on your tables, and of course to listen to the presentation of EBRD about Star Venture program. That is very important, and indeed, in general, EBRD paying a lot of attention to development of startup ecosystem in many countries, supporting not only startups but also accelerators, business incubators, and organizations who are supporting startup. And therefore, let me to give the floor to SME and the Director of Regional Networks of EBRD, Angela Sachs, to deliver a welcome speech. Please, Angela. One more time, please.
Does this work?
Yeah.
Good. Thank you very much. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, but I should also say Доброе утро, and I'm practicing my local knowledge as well, local language. Assalamu alaikum. This is my first trip to the region. Let me start from there. And we started from Uzbekistan, and I'm actually honored that we managed to do that. It may be my first one, but I have people here with me in EBRD that are representing the region and our operations here for many years, and we know the region very well. So I am absolutely delighted and honored to be here in Tashkent, a city that definitely reflects the vibrancy and potential of Uzbekistan's entrepreneurial spirit. And it is also a great pleasure for me to join you to explore how EBRD can contribute to Uzbekistan's dynamic startup landscape, supporting high potential early stage companies and fostering an ecosystem that drives innovation and growth. All very common words that you probably use in your own areas, because when we say early and up and coming early stage companies, we all know that they need the quick growth to get there faster. Entrepreneurship is at the heart of what EBRD does. And since its inception in 2019, our flagship program, which you probably already know about, EBRD Star Venture, has supported 300 startups across 26 economies, combining technical assistance with mentoring, business diagnostics, and access to global investor networks. Since then, EBRD Star Venture startups have raised over $500 million across all countries of our operations. This also translates into the volume of average fundraising that companies that have enrolled in this program have raised themselves. So within 1 year, Star Venture companies that we have been working with have raised over $1 million, and within 2 years, they have increased the employment in their organizations with about 23 more employees. So in Central Asia and Mongolia alone, we have worked with 36 startups to date, helping them scale their operations and contribute to the region's economic development. Now we want to bring this program to scale in Uzbekistan. Today, we want to listen to you, our partners, entrepreneurs, and investors. Your feedback and insight are invaluable, and we will refine our program offerings to meet the needs of Uzbekistan startups and venture capital ecosystem. Together, we aim to shape the program that fosters innovation, scales impactful businesses, and drives sustainable economic growth. We look forward to building partnerships here in Uzbekistan that will unlock the full potential of the region's entrepreneurship, helping them turn ambitious ideas into successful ventures. So I will probably stop here because we're here to listen more from you than continue the discussion from our end. So welcome again and looking forward to a very fruitful interaction.
Thank you so much, Angela, for your warm words. Indeed, in Uzbekistan, as I told before, the startup ecosystem and startups and all what is related to innovation are very important. We're paying special attention on that, and many types of initiatives are launched by government last year. And I would like to say that one of the most important player on this game is IT Park Uzbekistan, who is also here with us today. In this regard, please let me give the floor to Deputy Director of IT Park, Ms. Makhliyo Muksinova, to deliver a welcome speech, please.
Good morning, dear participants of this event. So my name is Makhliyo. I'm a Deputy CEO at IT Park Uzbekistan, responsible for the development of experts. So it's an honor to be here and participate on this event and to see so many passionate individuals sitting here in order to develop startup and venture capital ecosystem in Uzbekistan. Thank you very much for being here. First, I want to express my gratitude to the organizers of this event, to the European Bank for Reconstruction and Development and UEnter for having all of us here. And as IT Park, we are actively working with international organizations to bring a world-class environment in Uzbekistan to develop our startup and tech ecosystem. We're proud to have brought the plug-and-play tech center to our country, opening the international markets for tech startups from Uzbekistan. This year, we are launching several acceleration programs, including Alchemist, Hero Training by Draper University, and StartX by Stanford. These programs will help Uzbek founders refine their products and expand into markets in the United States, in EU and MENA markets. Furthermore, we recently launched our venture fund, IT Park Ventures, with its venture capital $10 million. And we are open to collaborate and to work together in order to develop this sphere. Additionally, we have initiated the Central Asian Innovation Hubs together with Astana Hub in order to unite our strengths, our expertise, our funds, and to develop the regional ecosystem in the global scale. Today, IT companies benefit from reduced taxes, while startups can access investments and loans without interest rates, creating an environment where innovation and entrepreneurship can flourish. Our ecosystem's development is also supported by the President of Uzbekistan. I also want to highlight the Star Venture Initiative by EBRD, an excellent program that supports startups in developing their products. IT Park is honored to collaborate on this, and we are always open for any initiatives in order to develop this ecosystem. Today's event is a great opportunity to share insights, build partnerships, and explore new ways to support growing startup community. I look forward to productive discussions and the outcomes that will drive us to further developments. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Makhliyo, for your warm words. It's really a pleasure to see how many programs launched by IT Park last year, how many events we conducted, and we really understand that the shift on these areas very crucial and achievable for all startup ecosystem players. And now we have opportunity to listen to the presentation of representative of IT Park, Chief Manager, Mr. Timurbek Sadinov, who will explain us startup development in Uzbekistan government initiative policies and achievements presentation. Please, Timurbek.
One. Greetings, everybody. I'm very glad to see all of you here today. My name is Timur, and I'll be presenting you how is IT Park doing in a startup ecosystem and venture investments the last year or over the couple of years before. And let me start with IT Park. In this presentation, I will talk a little bit about Uzbekistan, a little bit about IT Park, and then two major goals of IT Park. And we will go deep on the startups. First, we're currently half the size of a Central Asian population. We're at 37 million people with annual growth of 1 million people a year. In the middle of 2024, we've reached 37, and I hope in the middle of 2025, we'll be 38 million people. So I will focus on bullet points here because there are a lot of points in this slide. I will focus on just giving the hints and the main parts here. The first one is IT visa for employees and family members of those who are starting an IT business in Uzbekistan. This is very helpful for even startup beginners. If they come to Uzbekistan, they will be able to get IT visa for 3 years. Next, I would like to talk about top 10 safest place to live by Global Law and Order Index. Actually, we're safest country in Central Asia and one of the safest places in the world by Global Law and Order Index. You can walk anywhere in the street in the middle of the night and anything won't happen to you. And further, I would like to go with 60% are under 30 years old. We're pretty much young, very young nation with over 60% who are under 35. We have, if I'm not mistaken, we have 10 million people who are from 18 to 35. This is very promising beginning. Next, I would like to concentrate on 90 plus countries with visa-free regime, which opens a lot of opportunities for those who would like to visit Uzbekistan or for the entrepreneurs from Uzbekistan who would like to visit different countries to raise their business. And we have 22nd place in the lowest mobile internet ranking. This is very important as well. That means that everybody can have an access to the internet. Next. Now regarding IT Park. IT Park has two major goals. First of them is developing exporting IT-enabled services. Second one is developing startups. I will slightly talk about export services and go deep on the startups. First, export services. What do we do to develop it? We announced tax incentives in 2019, 2020, and they're active till 2040. Tax incentives, that means all the taxes are zero. Almost all taxes. Can you imagine being like all the taxes zero? Well, it's reality in Uzbekistan now, till 2040. Who can get those tax incentives? IT-enabled services companies, basically all IT-enabled services companies. Regarding startups, startup ecosystem, we're working on it. I will go deep on the next slides. Here, what are we doing in terms of infrastructure? Of IT Park complex and what are we doing to develop all of this? When we began in 2019, but all the background work started 2017. But in 2019, we've launched IT Park. We didn't have almost anything. All of the results that you're seeing are done in the last 5 years. We have 14 branches of IT Park. 205 IT centers. We have 4 representative offices around the world. That's Japan, Saudi, United States, and Korea. And where we have plug and play offices, standard plug and play offices, you can just go in and start working. We can provide offices for up to 225,000 square meters. And we have 46 incubation programs at universities. I'll talk about it more in next slides. Currently, IT Park has 2,600 residents. In Tashkent, we have 1,500, and in regions, we have 1,000, almost more than 1,000. And 642 of them are with foreign capital. Here you can see the division by the capital city and the regions, tier 1 cities of Uzbekistan. Next. Now let's go into startup ecosystem, since we became familiar a little bit with Uzbekistan and IT Park. Startup ecosystem. Currently we have more than 400 prospective startups who range from the idea stage till the Series B, Series A, Series B, and we have our first unicorn, which is Uzum. This is fintech and e-commerce platform. And IT Park has participated or organized in more than 700 events for startups. This is 5-year statistics. And in 2024, we had 203 million of investment into startups in IT Park. Not IT Park, I mean in Uzbekistan. And this is our major partners, whom you can be familiar with some of them, such as Plug and Play, Domino, with 500. And we have 6 venture funds right now in Uzbekistan, registered 6 venture funds, and IT Park Ventures with 10 million of fund is, they collaborate with IT Park. I mean, with 99% of this organization belongs to IT Park. We have launched our own venture capital. Next. You can see the ratio of the startups who are being supported or registered in IT Park. As I mentioned, we have 400, over 50% are seed, and almost 40% is pre-seed, which means there are a lot of startups that are just starting, and they need investment in this stage. Also, there are 60 startups that IT Park has participated in investment or helped to get invested. You can see the ratio here as well. 45% are seed, 32% is pre-seed, 15% pre-Series A, and 7.5% in growth stage. Also, looking at these ratios below, if you can see what are the most popular startups currently in 2024. 25% fintech, AI for 17%, 18% is edtech, and e-commerce is 15%. In 2024, I would say that e-commerce and fintech are booming in Uzbekistan. And this is the development cycle. If you are applying to IT Park as a startup, this is the stage that you will pass throughout. Before you get investment or till the time you get investment, you can pass all of the stages. First one, you start in university. You're a student. You just starting up a startup, a business, and you can participate in incubation programs in 46 universities. As I mentioned before, we have 46 universities with incubation programs. Here, you start there. Then, with minimum value product, with MVP, you go to President Tech Awards or to Maris Tech. President Tech Awards is mainly for those who are already running, who has MVP, who has the plan, and to Maris Tech is mainly for women. And then after that, you get invested in those local projects. You get investment, and then you go to acceleration programs, whom we have Plug and Play in most ventures, our partners. These are some startup support. You see, if you can see, these are some our startups who are currently being worked on with IT Park. And This is our venture ecosystem. I will talk about USVC further, but here you can get invested already. Then after you get invested, we can help you to get more investors in international events. For example, in Qatar soon, 23, 26, we're participating in Venture Summit, Web Summit, with 10 of our startups. We will soon be announcing it. This is how do we support it financially a little bit. We try to cover the costs for international acceleration in entrepreneurship training programs. We also have regulatory sandbox where they can test their apps, their products, and then we can help you if you're attracting some mentor or trainer from abroad. We can also help you to cover 50% of that. Also, we can reimburse you the expenses related to patenting and registration of intellectual property and trademarks. As I mentioned before, IT visa, in the beginning of the presentation, IT visa can be provided for 3 years. You will have almost all the same rights as Uzbek citizen for 3 years, just except for voting for a president. Here, local investments. Now, we have launched our IT Park Venture Fund. We talked about it. One mechanism for allocating funds to startups projects equal to the amount of foreign investment. That means if you're getting investment $50,000 when your value is $1,000 or $2,000, IT Park will help you to get invested with exactly the same of amount. For example, you're getting invested 50,000, IT Park will give you 50,000 more with the help. Reorganizing of the venture fund, USVC into the fund of funds. That means, I would say, like father of funds, as here, all the commercial banks and business entities with the state share of more than 50% in authorized capital are permitted to create a venture fund. That's why we have announced like USVC, a fund of funds, where those banks can give their money, funds, investments to USVC, and USVC will take care about their investment, and they will USVC will invest to the startups from their name. And IT Park Venture Fund will announce financial loan of up to 300 million. That's around to $28,000, $27,000 without collateral. That's very interesting as well. Also, those banks and business entities whom share is 50% from the government, they also can create startup studios and directly purchase of contracts for up to 50 million Uzbek sums. That's it for now. I think I took a lot of time. I'm sorry for that. If you have any suggestions and anything that you would like to change in our legislation, you're welcome to do so during this event or anytime. Thank you very much. Have a great day.
Thank you so much, Timur Beg, for very informative presentation that highlighted not only activities of IT Park, but also situation on the market related to startups in our country. And I'm very happy to give a floor to representative of IT Park Venture to have a presentation about IT Park Venture. Zainab Atabayeva, investment manager of IT Park Venture, who will describe this very important for our country, for a venture market initiative that was actually passed and pointed in the decree of the President of Uzbekistan that was passed on October last year. So please, Zainab, floor is yours.
Hello, everyone. First of all, thank you to the UNTER and YBRD for organizing such incredible event and gathering all of our ecosystem players in one place. It's great to be here, and I'm more than happy to provide a bit of information about IT Park Ventures and how we're going to support the startup and venture ecosystem development in Uzbekistan. So IT Park Ventures was established on 7th of December. And it's a venture fund under IT Park Uzbekistan and created with the support of our president and Minister of Digital Technologies of the Republic of Uzbekistan. Yeah, thank you so much. So the mission of the fund is to support our local founders with all resources. Despite the funding, we will provide mentorship, consultancy, and also co-investment opportunities with our partners and international funds. So on this slide, you can see the information about IT Park Ventures itself. It's a 10 million USD capital fund, and we're going to invest in pre-seed and seed stage startups mostly, because in Uzbekistan and in Central Asia, startups are mostly in this direction and in this area. And IT Park Ventures was specially created to support early stage founders with the capital, with the resources, and with all the mentorship they need in order to scale both in local market and also international market. Our main directions of the fund that will invest is artificial intelligence, green tech, and also ed tech and health tech. So here you can see the investment process. You're probably familiar with all of the companies and partners represented here. Some of our partners are already sitting here. So first is the deal sourcing. We're going to collect applications from startups on our website. IT Park Ventures is also running. And then we'll also collaborate with our partners. It's local venture funds, it's Sturgeon Capital, UzVC, Simorg VC, Aloka Ventures, Uzcard Ventures, in order to find good startups that we can help with capital and with resources. And then we'll do due diligence with our investment committee. And also we were going to have co-investment with our international partners VCs. It's Domino Ventures, it's Plug and Play VC, and also we're working to attract many more international players to the market. And also one of our support mechanisms will be together with IT Park. It's programs of Stanford, StarTex, Alchemist, Hero Training, and we're going to also support startups in their global expansion and participation on global events like TechCrunch Disrupt, Web Summit, DryTex. We already supported a few startups in Saudi Arabia, and we're going to work more actively on that also. So on this slide, you can see the support mechanism that IT Park Ventures offers. So first is the mechanism one-to-one. We're going to provide matching investments to startups that attract international investments. And also we're going to provide preferential loans with no collateral and with no interest rate up to 3 years. It applies to all local startups that are based in Uzbekistan. And for startups, we're also going to have pitch sessions where they can present their project in front of investors, in front of our international partners and ecosystem players. And we'll be more than happy to collaborate with you also on these pitch sessions, invite you as our partner, expert, and mentor. And also for investors, we're going to organize School of Business Angels together with our international partners, Silk Road Innovation Hub, Domino VC, and many other partners. And we're also will be happy to collaborate with you on School of Business Angels and attracting international players. And also we're going to launch certification for business angels. We're also working on that. So that would be it of my presentation. And the last slide is the QR code for our website where you can submit your startup or submit a request to partner with us. And we'll be more than happy to collaborate with everyone. Please feel free to reach out. We're here. We are here to support our local startups. We are here to support our partners and develop our ecosystem together and make an impact. Thank you so much. Have a good day.
Thank you so much, Zainab, for very interesting and informative presentation. We're absolutely sure that contribution of IT Park Venture will be very crucial for our country and stimulate the venture market in general. So now I would like to give the floor to Deputy Director of UEnter, Ilhom John Aliyev, who will describe the results of the survey about startup ecosystem in 2024.
Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Uenter. We're very glad to see you here in Uenter and to discuss the startup ecosystem in Uzbekistan. And I'm very glad to share the findings of the Uzbekistan Startup Survey 2024 that we conducted in cooperation with Ergo Analytics. And we hope that these findings will shed some light on dynamics, let's say opportunities, challenges that we face in our startup ecosystem. And throughout the presentation, I'll try to speak about international experience, some relevant international experience to make the discussion for growth. So the research results based on a survey, like among 310 startups in Uzbekistan of different stages. So we'd like to start with founder stage. So we found out that 81% of startup founders in Uzbekistan are under 30 years old, as it has been mentioned by the representative of IT Park Uzbekistan, Timuruddin. Almost 60% of the population are under 30 years old. And here you can see that 81% of startup founders are under 30 years old. But, you know, what is interesting is it contrasts with data from the United States. If we take, so in the United States, the data shows that the average age for successful startup founders is 45. That shows, although youth energy drives startup ecosystem of Uzbekistan, the experience, industry knowledge, they are really important in startup success. Not only being young and energetic, of course, it's good, but at the same time, we need knowledge and experience, life experience in this case. We found out that most startup founders are concentrated in the capital, Tashkent, 42%. And the second largest center of the startup ecosystem is the Fergana Valley, which is not surprising, and it totally aligns with the international experience. If we take, for example, Germany, almost 44%, or we can say around 50% of startups are concentrated in Berlin and Munich, or if we take India, the startup hubs are concentrated in Mumbai, Bengaluru, or Hyderabad. And the same picture is in Uzbekistan. Tashkent is the capital, and Fergana Valley is, rich in population places. And the startups are concentrated mostly in those two regions. Founders' education level. Most startup founders, which is 75%, hold bachelor's or master's degrees, which is not so different from from what is happening in the other countries, including the developed ones. Startup founders, academic especially. We can mention that exact technical and natural sciences prevail among startups, accounting for approximately 70% in total. And nowadays, if we pay attention to the trends of the science, STEAM is becoming popular in the world startup landscape. However, we are not on the track, I would say, with the STEAM, and a lot of startups in Uzbekistan are focusing on more in the soft directions. Sectoral distribution of startups. So the majority of startups are applying IT solutions in their projects. Here we can see the leading spheres like edtech, creative, or medtech and e-commerce are leading fields among startups. Coming to startup market segmentation, the most common business model among startups is B2B, and I found out a really interesting insight based on McKinsey research that not only in Uzbekistan but also in the European Union, in the United States, more than 50% of startups work according to the B2B, based on the B2B models. Development stage of a startup. So the largest group of startups in Uzbekistan is at the stage of idea or prototype. Like you can see the 56 and 31% idea and working prototype MVP respectively. Target audience. In Uzbekistan, most startups target not only the local market, but also plan to go beyond Uzbekistan, entering foreign countries. So what is interesting here is, in the world, almost all startups want to go beyond their countries, but I would say here I have some interesting thing to share. What are the risks of going beyond the or going international, let's say? Is it worth taking for startups, for every startup, or is it better to strengthen the presence in the country before going global? Maybe we should work on on strengthening our place or our position in the local markets. Here's the point to discuss. So coming to challenges of startups, the biggest challenge for startups are attracting investments. They mentioned it, and finding customers, which is, I would say, associated with market needs. So attracting investments and finding lines. So it leads to the failure rates and reasons. And we found out that 51% of startups failed in the past. And the main reasons for failure are a lack of investments, once again, and a lack of knowledge and skills. Funding sources. The most common funding sources for startups in Uzbekistan are personal savings and money from family and friends, which cumulatively account for 50%, the same in the world. And for example, if you take the United States, almost all the startups which are on the early stage, they start their projects based on bootstrapping, based on their personal savings before they grow. So here's a really interesting question. Do you trust investors? When we ask them, do they trust investors, only 4% of respondents do not trust investors in Uzbekistan. And 50% of startups mentioned that you have to be careful with investors. And this way it shows that there is a lack of trust in investors. Willingness to sell shares for investment. So our startups, more than half of them are not ready to lose a majority stake, which is not surprising. And that's why a lot of developed countries are supporting startups with government-backed grants or the other VC capital funds to, let's say, reduce reliance on equity shares. So coming to the highly demanded infrastructure, we can see that all facilities mentioned, like training centers, co-working, laboratories, scientific centers for startups, are in nearly equal demand, with a slight preference for IT infrastructure. Coming to demanded knowledge and skills, 43, as you can see, the percent of startups, they need incubation and acceleration. They mentioned the demand for incubation and acceleration programs, and percentage of women on the team is about 64% of startup projects have at least one woman on the team. Startup leader is female. Actually, however, there are a lot of maybe you can find female participants in the startup teams, but at the same time, only 29% of them, pose leadership positions in the startup teams. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Ilham, for very interesting presentation. And we have slight changes in our agenda. So now we will move to coffee break, and the main presentation of EBRD is going to be done after the coffee break. That's why I kindly urge everyone not to leave the building after coffee break. And we have 3 minutes before coffee break. If someone would like to have some comments, please raise your hand.
I have a lot of comments,
please.
But I think I will do it later.
Yeah, please. You will do it later?
Or? Yeah, my name is Bunyat Khashanfajev. I'm currently working at the UNDP project. Project is called Digital Economy. And I have some comments regarding the presentations also, and in general for availability of information, engaging the national partners because they're responsible. Some of the, from Ministry of Economy and Finance will be responsible for monitoring and evaluation of the startup ecosystem. So a lot of questions, but I just wanted to ask about the council Timur, I think, I'm sorry if I missed that slide. If you clarify about the council, which will be responsible for overseeing the startup ecosystem development, because it's very important in regard to the survey which is done here. Yes, so if we talk about the availability of the information, if you just go online and search for information, we don't have that much information. There is the report done by Dushaga Zufar with ADB a few years ago, and that the slide one page on investments done by and updated by Dauranake. I think everybody knows that one. Which startups getting how much money, and a few startups, a few research work done based on the desk work, desk research, not like in person. So this is very valuable information, but I think we need to expand this, extend and understand what kind of indicators must be set to understand the startup ecosystem development. So because we have a lot of components on within the startup ecosystem, it's accelerators, incubators, the investors, the VCs, funds, and the startups themselves. Like regarding the findings, for instance, no investment, yes, or we don't have that much of investments. This is a point of view, the startup's point of view, let's say, because they were asked about this investment. But if we ask the investors, also VCs are saying that there are no startups. So we want to invest, we're ready to invest. We have money, but we don't have the startups. And a lot of these kind of questions, I think I will switch to, I will try to cover very briefly on the follow-up discussions. But coming back to availability of information, this is a very important step, I think. We can start and engaging and delivering this information to our national partners who are also responsible for overseeing this startup ecosystem development is very important. And why important? Because at the end of the day, they will elaborate some report which will explain which will indicate the level of startup ecosystem development, and they will set their own indicators. So if we will work together and set that indicators together with our national partners also, it would be great, and we'll have the same validated information. So, and yeah, so sharing information with others who are responsible for monitoring and evaluation would be great. I mean, I think I will, again, talk about these kind of things in the follow-up discussion. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your concern. I will be really glad to help you and to talk to you later on as well. But for now, I would say that Startup Building will be announcing our ecosystem as well soon. And also, I would be really grateful if you share your suggestions. How can we do marketing or PR? And also, we will listen to that. I will promise you. Thank you very much.
Also, regarding the availability of information, IT Park is currently working with Startup Link in order to identify the directions where the support is needed from both local and international players. And also we're working on the rankings where we can improve our ecosystem. And we're glad to collaborate with you. We're already working closely with UNDP and would be happy to collaborate even closer and with also other players on this report, and also closing the gaps in the ecosystem. And we're also happy to provide you with all the reports that we have from our partners. And we can also sit together after this event, maybe on some other day, and discuss how we can further work together. Thank you.
In terms of, I'm going to follow up on this availability of information to IT Power guys, because you had this lovely itstats.us website, which is now down for some reason. So there was real cool info about data. I've been in December on 2 events worldwide presenting Uzbeks. I'm in game dev industry, so I have my own problems. But usually when you go to any event, you talk about Uzbekistan. What is Uzbekistan like? Landscape. And it's so hard to find your slides, actually. So Farhad Ibrahimov shares in LinkedIn, but like there's no like some data somewhere. Like we really need this, like just something on the landing page of IT Park, like press kit, whatever, like some data for presenters. So like So anyone can, I can reach because I know you. I'm lucky enough to just chat to you in Telegram. But I mean, if anyone prepares to any presentation about IT ecosystem, and they don't know you like personally, they cannot chat you. This IT stats initiative was super cool, but it's for some reason there's no info. So I think this you have the data, right? So so I get it that not all data can be shared, but like some part of it, like basic stuff that you're already showing here on slides, maybe something like this. It will be super useful for many people that like Uzbek speakers, especially in international events, like because I have to always chat to guys from IT Park, like, could you give me this data? How many startups? How many, like, I don't know, so like a basic stuff would be super useful. Yeah, thank you.
So thank you so much, friends, for your comments. We can continue discussion after coffee break. And as I said before, we will have after coffee break very interesting, the main, I would say, the presentation of the event that will be done by Bilgun Batsu about EBRD support to startups. And also we'll have, and we'll listen to a presentation of Alaka Ventures and Plug and Play in Uzbekistan. And then we also will have discussions. So let's meet here in 15 minutes at 11:05. Thank you so much. Welcome for coffee break. So now I would like to switch on to online format and to give a floor to Bilgun Batsu, consultant of Startup Venture Program of EBRD, who will make a presentation about EBRD support to startup, case studies, and lesson learned. I hope that you hear us very well.
Yes. Do you hear me?
So please, Bilgun, we are at your disposal. You have 15 minutes, and it's a pleasure to see you and to listen to you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And first of all, welcome everyone. And it's very great to see all of you here in one place. So today I will be briefly discussing about the Star Venture program, what it does with the program, what kind of offering we provide, and also we have supported the startups quite a long bit of time now, in 5 years. So we will be discussing a little bit about our case studies and lessons learned from those experiences. So first, I will be going to our overview and especially regarding our support for the startups, then our impact and lessons learned. So as a bank, EBRD provides a very comprehensive support for the startups. First, of course, with the Star Venture program, then we have a venture capital fund as well as indirect investment through the fund of funds. So for the Star Venture program, our program is mostly very much focused on the technical assistance and providing a direct support. However, we do have other branches in the bank that's focusing on the investment. And I would like to also mention that we also work very closely with our VCIP equity teams to build the linkage between our financing. So as a bank, our program is quite comprehensive. As you can see, we are now operating in 26 countries, which also includes Uzbekistan. I'm very happy to report. And we have over 1,500 mentors and 300 startups. And also we are also supporting a quite lot of number of accelerators in all our country of operations. And we also work with very closely with the various local and international consultants, and also focus very much on building their capacity to deliver the quality advisory services to our startups. And as a program, you are seeing how our Star Venture program supports the ecosystem and also the startups. building on in the first area is that entrepreneurial ecosystem support. So we are in this area, we are working directly with the government, policy advisory, the building capacity of the venture capitals, and also other international organizations, DFIs, AFIs, to build the linkages and support the ecosystem as a whole. And from there, we also work closely with accelerators. In every country we operate, we have one or two accelerators we work with very closely, but we also have a much more broader accelerator support. And from this, we also have a very much our brand, I guess, program, which is the Scaling Support Program that's directly tailored for the startup support. And for our startup supports, I'll be going into this a bit more in the next slide. However, what I would like to very much highlight here is that our accelerated support and ecosystem support is a very flexible part of our support, and it is very much tailored to the ecosystem and the countries of operation we are operating in, and it varies by all of the countries very differently. And for our startup support, it's a very, in a sense tailored, but also on the other hand, we have a very much core 6 offerings. So how do we support the startups? So our scaling support program is 24 months program, and it is at the core very much tailored to support the startups to scale and grow, also they go into the international markets. Our program starts first of all with the business diagnostic. We do this in a partnership with the University of Cambridge, and through the business diagnostics, what it does is that we help the startups to identify the areas they want to explore, the investments they want to seek, what kind of we closely look at their operations, so that identify the areas they want to improve, such as maybe it is their marketing, it can be their finances, etc. And the result of this business diagnostic helps us in the next stage, which is the business advisory services. So in this area, it is really up to our startups to tell us what they want, how they want the advisory to go, what kind of needs they have. And that's why it also links very well with the business diagnostic. And as a program, we have over 1,500 world-class mentors that we will be very much doing a needs assessment for each of the startups and helping them to connect with the specific mentors in the areas that they want to explore, they want to learn for. And also, moreover, we do a bit access to the finance. So how we do is that we, through the year, with the Star Venture program, we do many workshops, such as like an investor pitching workshop, like a demo days and fundraising advisory, etc. So anything that can help them to find the investment is it can be also explored. And then we also support many startups to visit international expeditions and conferences, such as like Injectex, Innovex, and you were also previously mentioning that the Web Summit. I believe like in 2 of our startups already is planning on visiting Web Summit. And also we have many digital cloud offerings, such as the Azure and also the AWS. For the example, for AWS, Amazon credits, we have a 25,000, and for Microsoft Azure credits, we are offering up to 150,000 worth of credits. And also each of the startups get the opportunity to participate in a Coursera training. And you can see that as a program, we are very much focused on having how our supporting the startups to grow and to build their businesses, and we are tracking them throughout the year. So in the 2024, it's our highlights, and I'm very happy to report that we have launched in 4 new countries, Armenia, Ukraine, Moldova, and Tajikistan. All of them have the very first cohorts. And we also are continuously throughout the year on rolling basis, recruiting the new startups in each of our countries of operation. And we have this year 81 startups. However, this is still ongoing process. We also have like a new cohort that's been announced in Lebanon, Azerbaijan, etc. And only from just to give you a little bit of the taste of how our startups are doing is that our startups have raised over 38 million US dollars in the last year only. However, I would like to also highlight that this is the very preliminary data. Like an annual survey will be coming up in the very first quarter of the 2025, and this data will be updated. And also, we are continuously expanding the number of the startups we work together. And this year, we have established a partnership with 7 new accelerators. As I said, our annual survey is yet to come up, so I have a little bit of old data. It's on our startup impact in 2020, 2019, and 2023. So as our Angela has mentioned before, almost $500 million was raised by all of the startups in the last year, and we have supported like in 500 advisory projects, 300 something, the mentorship, the trainings, and the business matching trips, etc. And as a bank, we have also invested in our lot of these startups. We are working closely with, and it's been $150 million. And so here I would like to also highlight that the Star Venture program has been implemented starting in 2019 in the CEMET region, and we are only in the Central Asia and Mongolia in the last 2 years, in the 2022. So currently we have 36 startups, 12 in Kazakhstan, 13 in Mongolia, 6 in Kyrgyzstan, and 5 in Tajikistan over the newest cohort. And you can see like how many of these advisory projects and the business matching trips we have done. And what we are learning as we work with this in this region is that there is so much focus on the international business matching trips. One, we believe it is also highlights that there's an lack of like the venture capital, the investment in the region, and also how much of the startups like a focuses on the going outside in the foreign market. And also there is a significant differences in by each country, like and what they are focusing on in their advisory services. For example, the Kazakhstan startups were very much focusing on the platform development, like and very IT specific improvements, while our Mongolia startups were very much focused on the.
Okay, let's just check if it was indeed the last slide. But essentially what the purpose of this presentation was supposed to do is to give you a flavor of the EBRD Star Venture program. And as Bilgun has mentioned to you, it is already very active in some of the countries here in Central Asia and Mongolia, which is the EBRD region. This is the way EBRD splits its geographic coverage. And we are looking to also refine the Star Venture program to be relevant and of value added to you guys here in Uzbekistan. And so we are looking essentially for your feedback. You've heard about it. There's Bilgun again, but you've heard about it. Our Star Venture program provides individual tailored advisory business advice to startups. And I already have discussed with some of the stakeholders here. And it's really great that we have this platform for consultation. We would like to hear from you on how we can support you
and support and complement the work that or the assistance you are already receiving from the SME ecosystem here in Uzbekistan. So to wrap up again, we do individual business advice. Our startups that sign up to the program receive a strategic business diagnostics workshop from the University of Cambridge as our entry point, and then we handhold you through individual advisory activities to take you to the next step. In addition, we also do, and I understand many of our partners are also already doing this, we are of course also recognizing that access to investor networks is absolutely key and critical for early stage companies. So this is also something we support on a selective basis. Overall, the purpose for me, I've come in here from Almaty a few days ago. I would really like to hear from you on how we can plug in, to use that word game here. I support our startups and support the ecosystem and be really complementary in what we are trying to offer to you. So if we have some time to discuss this and gather feedback, I would be very, very, very much appreciating this. Thank you. Thank you, Bilgun.
Simona, maybe
So
just
sorry.
Олег, если позволите, пару слов уже.
Yes, Sherzod Ake, please.
Yes, Sherzod Akbar from EBRD. Just in addition to what Simona has mentioned, some of you, many of you must have participated in our event last year during the ICT week when we announced that we will be looking into starting Star Venture program in Uzbekistan. Due to some internal and external factors, we had to take a small pause. There have been several rounds that we have already made in discussing with some select startups and ecosystem players. We have collected up to, I think, 50, if I'm not mistaken, applications from promising startups last year. We still have these applications, but we are planning to, as Simona mentioned, refine our approach a little bit and do a rerun of this. So we will be reaching out to all the previous applicants, but we'll also be doing the, let's say, second round of applications come spring. And this is where we would like to... we would like to take note of the experiences of our neighboring countries, global experiences, and try to integrate this. But we would very much welcome your feedback on what aspects of the Star Venture you find most promising and most in demand. And that's why we would like to, be in touch with you in the coming weeks to make sure that this program brings value to our market. Thank you very much. Bilgun, over to you.
Thank you so much, Sherzod Ake. Bilgun, do you have something to add? You are muted.
Bilgun, you're...
First of all, very sorry, a little bit of the connection loss there. And I would like to also, I think Sherzod and Simona has very much said all the things I would like to add on. And we are here to listen to all of you here. So thank you.
Thank you so much again. Actually, I was right. It was the last slide. Before discussion, we also would like to listen to several presentations. Very important, actually. The first one of Davron Parmonov, who represent the Alaka Ventures, maybe I think that the strongest local venture fund, who making a lot of efforts and bring great contribution to the promoting of startups in our country, in Central Asia as well. Please, Davron Ake, floor is yours.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Davron. We are corporate venture fund, most active. The agency, the Alaka, is our initially it was a telecommunication bank, and now we opened our venture arm. Almost 2.5 years, we are actively investing in startups. At the beginning, we done some successful case in our bank. For example, we opened a company and was a shareholder 20%, and after 1.5 years, that shares sold. We sold to Kiwi Ocean, and we made 12 access. And our managing board changed mind to make venture arm. And from approval of central bank. Now we're actively investing startups. At the beginning, we concentrated on fintech, AI, which is Aloka is more a telecommunication bank, and all these e-commerce was originally created in Aloka, even a PayMe with Paycom. So that 70% of the whole e-commerce market was in our bank. Then we started doing this pipeline of startups for e-commerce, AI, fintech, but we have seen that the market lacks of good or talented people, and now we are sector agnostic and investing any kind of startups. So let's begin. In 2.5 years, we invested 31 startups. Most of the startups are local, and almost 75% of Uzbek startups, and other is Central Asian. We invested Pakistani startups, two Azerbaijani, seven Kazakhstan, one Tajikistan, originally talent from Tajikistan, and one of them is from now in our consideration Azerbaijan also, and most of their headquarters located outside of Central Asia, in Delaware, London, UK, and now as you say, that project we have done with our local acceleration program, Alaka Tech Lab at the beginning. Then we pivoted our acceleration to Society Park to Plug and Play. We was an anchor partner with Plug and Play, and now all this MOIC level is we already invested 4 million startups. If you collect all the data from your portfolio, multiple on invested capital will be from 2 to 3%. Now we are calculating, we're closing this year, and our Big Four, KPMG, will assess this. As you see that our portfolio startups is most of them we at the beginning, we looked for the local startups for integrating with banking, but market lacks of good talent, so we are open for any startups. Now we have medtech, edtech, any kind of interesting startups. And most of the startups is co-invested with our Central Eurasian regional venture co-investors, and 20 countries, they're operating their sales in 20 countries. And the problem arises here, we opened it last year, we opened it Startup Garage. Startup Garage means that we have seen the problem in the market that idea stage and pre-acceleration stage lack of the talent, so we are preparing by ourselves. We are shareholders in Startup Garage, and now they have 30 startups, and 5 of them received money from angels, and we will prepare to the venture funnel, and we will invest through Startup Garage. Here's our main investors, UZVC, government owned. They already invested 8 startups, and now they're becoming, UZVC become fund of funds, and from this year they will allocate more money. Alaka Ventures invested 31 startups, 4 million plus, and we are committed 1.5 million this year, and we are opening our next venture fund this year. First quarter of the year, we will launch second fund. And Simulk, we see originally it's a startup studio. Now they are also considering next level of their VCs, and they will maybe allocate their money. Uzcard is already invested 5 startups, and they are not limited. The fund size is not limited because Uzcard is a 70 million net income company, and they are flexible for investing. And the local angels also interested to startups. For example, to become a member of Angel Club, you need minimum 5K and we will gather 5K from angels and maybe invest as a syndicate. This is Startup Garage. Startup Garage, in 6 months, it's some money from angels, not VCs. As you see, that's 800K is given by angels from our Startup Garage. And we are considering most of investment from VCs. And if their traction is good, we will invest Startup Garage projects. Now they have a 40 plus startups, and we will invest interesting startups from Startup Garage. Startup Garage receives 5% equity because it's an initial stage. Most of the ideas come to Startup Garage, and we will receive 5% equity. Yeah. Our venture chakra opened by Sturgeon Capital. As you said that all the local venture stories started in 2022, but Sturgeon Capital opened venture chakra in 2020, 4 years ago, and now they're opening their second venture fund. Maybe they will also will invest to local startups. Their check size is from 500K to 2 million. Yeah. It's a plug and play, or more information will be from Mohammed after me. They've done 27 accelerating startups. They've done 2 batches, and 3 of Central Eurasian startups received money from plug and play. Point AI Uzbekistan, Zip Tajikistan. Zip is originally is a local Uzbek talent with Pakistani, and Zipple AI is Tajikistan startups. They're doing the 3rd batch now. The market, the problem is that in the market, there's we are solving capital funnel. The government allocated more money from the 2 years ago. We gave the old recommendation to the fund of funds. We're giving the recommendation to the government now. The president decree issued on October, and 50 million fund from banking sector and from USVC fund of fund will be allocated to the market. And interestingly, here is problem is in talents. So we should strive more, do more incubation acceleration programs through startup centers, garage, startup studios, and at the universities from the last year at the universities you can do startups with your team and create a company, and not to write your diploma or master thesis. This also included in universities, but I haven't seen any interesting startups yet, but ventures are ready to invest R&D projects from universities. If talents makes great teams, then they will go to grants, AAA and acceleration programs. And if their funnel is good, they will receive money from ventures. As you see, Plug and Play invested 3 startups. President Tech Award in 2 years, they allocated 2 million grants. World Bank Muniz program allocated 3 million. USAID also doing great. They're giving up to 100K grants with co-investment. Yeberdi, we are waiting Yeberdi 1.5 years, but Yeberdi will be also active here, I think. And Business Development Bank gives up to 2 billion Uzbek soms. It's roughly 150K as a co-investment to the equity of the startups. More and more venture capital will open from corporate VC. 5+ venture capital will be open. Some of the banks also will launch their venture arm, and corporates like Uzbek Telecom, and they're doing their startup venture or how to say it, R&D centers. And private equity also, one of our because private equity also allocated 5 million to one of our startups. So they're also ready to invest good startups with their valuation, if their valuation exceeds more than 20 plus million. It's how my vision works. And let's talk about Garage. We are shareholder of the Garage, Alaka Venture shareholder. And now we are actively seeking talents from all the region. Now all my colleagues in Kashkadarya and Surkhandarya will open their our startup garage branch, bank providing a place, they're providing technical laptops and mentorship, and we will open 14 branches in Uzbekistan. If startups is convenient for integration with bank, we are ready to integrate with our ecosystem. So we invested 30 plus startups, and funnel was more than 300 startups. Well, we screened at them, and we are ready to invest 50 startups this year, up to 50. And from venture building our arm with Startup Garage, our chairman said that we will invest more than 100 startups in 2 years. So this is the corporate venture capital. Yeah, it's a tendency in Turkish ecosystem. We presented all the Turkish ecosystem to the central bank and some of our government organizations, and I think capital up more than 50 million will be allocated through corporate VCs. So we have first corporate VC, and next year you will see that more capital will be allocated to the economy. We translated the power law, as I stated, changing the mindset of the government bank done in our bank, and it's the book about venture capital and making a future. It sees the story in our bank change the story of the whole country. So soon we will publish this book. We translate it to Uzbek language. Storytelling about how venture capital began in USA, and it's very famous book. And we are translating venture mindset of Ilyas through life too. So we should change more bureaucracy and make venture mindset available to the country. That's all. Thank you. If you have questions.
Thank you, Davron, so much for your very informative presentation. If nobody have a question, maybe later on we will move to discussions. And now I would like to give the floor to recently appointed, actually, to the position of director of Plug and Play in Uzbekistan, Muhammad Mahmudov. Muhammad, we congratulate you on this position, and really would be happy to listen to the presentation about the activities and achievements of Plug and Play in Uzbekistan. Please.
For this event, I'd like to extend my gratitude to the EBRD and to UNTA for making it happen and for gathering all of us here today. So today our main purpose is to present you with Plug and Play and what we've been doing in Uzbekistan, so that we can see points of common interest and how Plug and Play can support efforts, including the one being put together by EBRD in Uzbekistan. As mentioned, I am a new director in Uzbekistan. I took over starting this month. To give you a bit of background, I come from international financial institutions such as EBRD and IFC. Before that, I worked at the Ministry of Investments here in Uzbekistan. So from those capacities, I actually see many familiar faces here and also not so familiar. So hopefully we can connect with those of you whom I don't know and reconnect with those I know in this new capacity, so that we work together on new projects. So to give you a bit of context about what Plug and Play is and a bit of our history, so I'll try to keep it short, but just to give you a bit of background. Everything started from a lucky building back in 1990s. Our owner and founder, Said Amidi, he acquired a building which hosted the likes of Google, PayPal, Logitech, Danger, as well as Dropbox. That's where our first investment started because some of those big names today actually didn't have enough money to cover their rents. So a part of their rent payments was through our equity. So that's when that's the very prehistory of how Plug and Play started its activities. In 2006, we became a venture capital fund. We acquired a building in Sunnyvale, and we established our headquarters in Silicon Valley. Starting in 2012, our engagements with startups grew into open innovation. So we started hosting verticals and connecting startups and working with them, nurturing them into bigger companies across many verticals. In 2015, those engagements resulted in us working through 14 themed innovation practices, and that resulted in 4 horizontal approaches. And today, with more than 60 locations worldwide, we are one of the biggest accelerator program runners in the world. Talking about our activities in Uzbekistan, everything started from visit in Stuttgart when the Minister of Digital Technologies visited Stuttgart and met with our office there. The decision was made to come to Uzbekistan in 2022, October. We participated in ICT Week and officially launched the ceremony of our start here. Then our first accelerator program started in March 2023, and we had a launch event held in May 2023. As I said, we are a global player with more than 60 offices across the world and 19 years of experience, but also we have local ambitions. Whichever market we enter, we try to do our best to facilitate startup ecosystem in that country. 3 pillars of our business are accelerator programs, corporate innovation, and venture capital. Starting with accelerator programs, it's about nurturing, working with startups, growing them, making them ready to engage with many stakeholders, including global ones. Corporate innovation focuses on establishing links between established corporates and startups. When corporations want to do R&D, when they want to develop certain lines of business, and they run into issues, that's when Plug and Play steps in. We try to find startups which can help them do that. And the final direction is venture capital. We invest in more than 250 companies and also co-invest with more than 180 VCs globally. We run more than 120 accelerator programs around the world across 20 verticals, more than 20 verticals, including medtech, edtech, insurtech, deep tech. So even you can see we do aerospace and defense. So fintech is one of the biggest directions here in Uzbekistan. Our work so far resulted in creation of more than 400 jobs per year, more than 800 startups accelerated, and 70% of those startups are actually in strategic conversation with at least one VC. In Uzbekistan, so far, we have run 3 batches, 2 with the support of IT Park, and 1 under USAID's grant technical assistance. Currently, we have batch 3 going on. It's about to come to an end. We have mentors coming from Saudi and many other places. We're kicking off batch 4 starting 24th of February. Applications are open. You may register using the QR code here. For the first time, it's going to be fintech focused, and we're aiming to attract about 10 local and 5 international startups which are going to expand into Uzbekistan. So feel free to share this with your connections, with your networks, so that we can get more of talents into our accelerators. We have very ambitious plans for 2025. So far, if we only ran 2 batches since our existence in 2023, only this year we're planning to run about 4 batches One is about to finish, the other is coming up, and we are planning 2 more at the end of the year, like in autumn and December. We are also planning to do capacity buildings for banks, because now banks are all of them are switching their attention and focus on startup ecosystem here. So we're planning to take them to Frankfurt and other European cities to do capacity building for their staff. We have Uzbekistan Expo planned preliminary for May 15th, so please put a hold on your calendars. We hope to see many of you there, actually all of you. And finally, in June, we have winners of President Tech Award. We're hoping to take them to Silicon Valley for capacity building and for training them. We have the largest corporate network in the world. Within open innovation, we work with companies such as Visa, Walmart, DHL, and many others. While our main partners in Uzbekistan are IT Park and Ministry of Digital Technologies, those are the founding partners, and we also engaged with USAID, as well as Swiss agency, Ministry of Economy and Finance, and UNDP. But for me, this is not enough. I hope to see more logos, including from this event today, and hopefully we can do more projects with you. Talking about our VC investments, our investment portfolio covers more than 2,000 companies. We have invested $12 billion in additional funding. In that portfolio of more than 2,000 startups, we have more than 30 unicorns, including PayPal, Dropbox, as you may see. So it's not too bad to have 2% of unicorns in your portfolio, I guess. 2023 average check size was $107,000, but we invest from $100,000 up to $500,000 into startups. We made 18 portfolio exits and invested in 187 companies in 2023. Hopefully, 2024 figures are coming up very soon. Our investments in Central Asia include Zipple AI in fintech, supply chain with Zip24, and enterprise tech with Point AI. We are an ecosystem of change makers. We stand as a bridge between corporations, startups, regulators, VCs, investors, universities, governments, mentors. We engage with everyone in this area. So we are the ultimate innovation platform. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you so much, Muhammad. So if there's no questions, we can move to discussion session, and we open the game, please. If somebody would like to say something, just raise your hand. Again, Bunyod from UNDP will start. Please, Bunyod.
Thank you very much. Let me switch to Russian, if you don't mind, if it's okay.
Actually, yes, because as far as I know, all of us speak Russian.
Yeah. Работает, да. Вообще, как-то чуть-чуть приземленно хотел некоторые вопросы поднять. Опять доступность информации, да? Там очень 1 минуту доступность информации, системность информации, подача информации. То, что вы сделали. Во-первых, спасибо большое, что позвали. Меня зовут Бунет еще раз. Я работаю в проекте ProOn. Менеджер. Проект называется Digital Economy, цифровая экономика. Короткое название.
Бунет, я извиняюсь, что я вас перебиваю.
Да.
Вы прекрасно говорите по-английски. Просто ей очень важно, как представителю из EBRD, услышать вас для дальнейших деятельностей. Поэтому мы не могли бы вы все-таки перейти на английский, если вам это не сложно для эффективности.
Да, я лектором работал. Вот, Акмалек знает, я много говорю просто, поэтому на русском чуть меньше. Okay, I will switch to English. Yeah, I will switch to English.
She will switch to English.
I will switch to English. So I saw this platform.
No, it's okay. He agreed.
It's better for you.
No, I saw this as a coordination meeting for me, personally for me, because there are a lot of partners with whom we worked, actually, with you, with Farhaka, with Alok Ventures in some events, with Plug and Play, and so on. So my point is availability of information. And again, thank you very much for conducting research, because this will be used, actually. We don't have much information, yes? The most important thing is a validated information. That's we're going to use this one, but this one is the initial steps. So what actually we are proposing is that we need some kind of a mechanism which will deliver the constant or a constant update, let's say, constant update for the industry players, validated information to industry players. That's very important. So what we were planning, actually, if other partners will join, we would be very glad, is to develop the indicators, the guidelines, which will allow whoever, like researchers, government agencies, and so on, to collect the validated information. This will require the resources, but at least we will have the standardized guidelines with the generally accepted indicators. So we don't have that right now. We don't have that nationally. You can just tell our national startup ecosystem is developed to some extent. We don't have that indicator. Like out of 100, we have like the progress to like 30% or 40% because it requires a work, it requires the guidelines and so on. So this is our plans actually, but it's very important. So these guidelines will allow you to collect the information, analyze, and elaborate the reports, which can be used for aligning the programs, educational programs, incubators, and so on. This was the first thing. And Timur mentioned that this president's decree recently, yes, it was adopted. And Ministry of Economy and Finance, they will establish the specific unit which will be responsible for overseeing the monitoring and evaluation of the startup ecosystem development. So it means that at some point they will develop a report, yes? So they will report like yearly report, annual reports or some, and they will deliver this. And this will be the government data on startup development. So what we are doing should be aligned with that data to some extent, because if the private party will, it's good and bad at the same time. I mean, if the private side will develop a report which will show different data than the government validated data, again, it's good and bad. Everybody understands. So this would be great if we'll have the same indicators. Data can be different, yes, collected differently, but the indicators and how we will evaluate the startup ecosystem development. I think there are set up or solid methodologies, international methodologies, which can be used also or localized. And that's the first thing. And the second thing, coming to the financing, yes, because most of here are VCs and the people who are, they can find money to invest to startups. So we should we should understand right now and accept that there are money. So we have money to invest actually, but we need startups. So coming to this, when we talk to, I don't have this data, but when you, this is a small club, yes? Every time you collect the people or you do some kind of coordination meetings, you see the same faces. And when we talk to them, the main problem is that they don't have the pool of startups for investing. So it means that there is a gap between the idea level and acceleration. Everybody talks about accelerating the startups, but we don't have that idea level or MVPs to accelerate it. I mean, we have, but we don't have that much we don't have the choice. I mean, so choice is limited. So what we would thinking about is that Aloha Ventures is doing the great job about this one, this garage, startup garage. But it's kind of, for me, it seems like it's a bit closed pipeline. Yeah. Correct me if I'm wrong. It's kind of their own pipeline of nurturing the startups and investing. So as a development agency, and my personal opinion is that we must see more this kind of platforms that will nurture the startups for investing. So for acceleration, basically. And this is the second thing. And one more thing I was worried about is the quantity is okay. Like we have 300 or 400 startups, but coming to the quality of the startups. For instance, when we did a event, we were okay, forget about the event, but generally talking about the startup quality, like comparing to Kazakh startups, for instance. If we can choose one, I mean, if there are 20 startups, maybe we will be able to choose one for acceleration and further investment. But from Kazakh startups pool, we can choose like 5 or 6, maybe more. and in the regional context. I'm not comparing to the European or American. I'm comparing to regional. So it's very important to understand the quality also, like to invest to the quality. And my main point here is that maybe we should focus on incubation, like Alapa Ventures is doing, like we are planning to do, to go to the incubation programs, like help the university to understand how to do things. And I have to say this, the question also, talking about the specialists, when you open the centers in the regions, because I usually, here I worked with Usmanica also, we travel a lot to the regions and we see the level of the development in terms of the startups, yes, startup developments, introducing these accelerators and incubators. So there are no specialists who can manage this that we can't find, because most of the experts, they move to Tashkent. Whenever they got the chance, they move to Tashkent. So there are no specialists in the regions. So how you can like manage this problem, like establishing these kind of centers, accelerators, and at the same time having the experts that can actually build this system, help to build this pipeline for you. These are, sorry for hectic. I'm thinking about these things all the time. That's what I'm saying. And it would be great. One more little thing. I think it's really hard to maybe implement, but would be great if we can introduce some kind of a micro financing mechanisms for incubators, the startups which are doing the MVP within the incubators. So we don't have that. So no any incentives for, other than the consulting, yes? No other incentives for the startups who are passing the incubation. So it would be maybe we could start investing like 3,000, 4,000 to these promising or prospective startups and so on. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your concern, Bunyod Eke. Together with Startup Billing, we're preparing a huge report to raise our position, of course, in Startup Billing, of course, and raise awareness, about startups in Uzbekistan. I'm sure after we finish that, we will be visible for world players and as well as local players, and availability of information will be boosted hugely. Also, what I would offer to you is to join us in this report, in preparing this report with Startup Billing, and contribute if you're okay with that.
I have that much information about that one. That's why I like coordination meetings, mostly with the mid-level management, because they are actively involved in this kind of projects. And I would be glad to see, but we're planning also again to provide the government of the Uzbekistan with certain guidelines and so on for, as I told, there is a unit who will be responsible for monitoring and evaluation. We'll be glad to talk and discuss this one later. Thank you.
Please.
I working with Saurabh Gorar, Saurabh Blink, and Saurabh Genome. Did we sign the agreement?
Not yet.
And with Startup Link,
Yeah,
we
there-
already started working with them.
Yeah.
On the year report for the 2024, we already have improved rankings and information about Uzbekistan. And this year, we're going to have a comprehensive report, including all the data, all the analytics about Uzbekistan ecosystem.
Yeah, it's
and
very interesting
players.
report about what you mentioned. There's Startup Link and Startup Genome. They are publishing our startup ecosystem report. 100 countries there, and we are adding Uzbekistan. They have a very complementary methodology of assessment of startup ecosystem in every country, more than 100 countries, and there is a quantitative score, qualitative score, and startup business environment. So we are working with them, and they also give their recommendation to enhance our startup ecosystem. And most of the problems is macroeconomic level, educational level, and as you said, the qualitative score is even English proficiency of Uzbekistan also included is more macroeconomic level, R&D centers, and all these problems in our country is macroeconomic problem of startup ecosystem, and with help of government officials, we will hit each of them. And yeah, startup ecosystem is very at the beginning stage. In my opinion, 2 years old, And from the help of this international institution and advisors, they will also give their recommendation. If UNDP can help with this allocating some portion of money to these reports and advisors, it will be helpful because we are giving money from our venture site and IT Park venture site. So if you're also ready, we will hit this. From EBRD, yeah, we have been waiting EBRD 1.5 years, and their expertise also interesting because I've seen their traction in Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan maybe, and we are ready to cooperate. We have more than 50 portfolio startups, and we will give each of them to the next traction of EBRD 50K grant. I think it's also will help to startups. It's not direct investment, but anyway, it's very helpful for our startups. So
Yeah. Thank you. Actually, I know that, yeah, I know these platforms. Very quick comment on this. Why we're fixed to these platforms? I'm not aware of the indicators and so on, but currently the information they're providing is very shallow in regarding our region, and that's as far as I can understand, you want to make this information more detailed and so on by working with it. But why specifically startup? Why don't we just talk to each other here, like not here, but later, yes, specifically industry players, and identify like the proper way of engaging some consulting or whatever to define the level of startup ecosystem development. But I know about the Startup Link and other platforms. I usually monitor them, evaluate, but currently, again, the level of information they are providing, because it's mostly desk work, yes, desk work. I haven't seen the Startup Link experts are coming here, Uzbekistan, going to regions or understanding something. The current level of providing information is very shallow. So I was thinking about the more like focus and so on. Again, maybe it's also already fixed, yes? If it's already fixed, we're gonna move from that point, not like discussing who will be the consulting or whatever. So let me know. It would be great to, yeah.
Simone, you want to state something?
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm listening with great interest. Do you mention something about the low quality of the startups, and that there's a gap between the incubation and what comes out of after the acceleration process? I have a question back to this, and this is also a question to our startups, of course. What kind of feedback do you get from potential investors when they decide not to invest? I mean, what is it that you need to work on more? Is it the prototyping? Is it the managerial experience? Is it something else? Is it more evidence on the growth potential? What are you struggling with?
Please, we have startups here as well, as is big. And
We have startups.
yes.
Hi. My name is Aziz Bek. I'm co-founder at Sugurta Bozor. We help insurance companies to earn more profit from each client. So we have many problems, to be honest. First is funding. If you see foreign markets, most incubation programs, they are within the universities. Here, we saw the statistics that most co-founders, founders, they have bachelor's degrees. And we were joking with Mr. Salihov that it's a pity that they have a degree because abroad, most dropouts, they are unicorns, right? So this is one of the problems. Maybe if they had a chance within the university to learn about opportunities, to catch those opportunities first, they will have some options. Right now, they don't have options. Let's imagine you're a student or graduate of Westminster University or any other universities, and you want to start something. You don't have initial funding. You don't need 100K. You don't need 200K. At least you need like 10, 15K. And you don't have this in Uzbekistan. I started my journey in 2018, and I worked in 6 companies. I quit my job. I went to startup. Then it failed. again, I got employed and etc. Back and forth. So I was saving money and spending it to make something. And eventually it worked because right now we have some ecosystem being born, let's say, not evolved, born. And so first problem is incubation. Second is funding. When I say funding, we saw in the graph by Mr. Parmonov, partner at Aloka Ventures, that there are many stages, like ideation stage, pre-seed, seed, and etc. Almost all funds in Uzbekistan are allocated on pre-seed and seed stage. But before pre-seed, what if 3F doesn't work, right? And what after the seed stage? Right now, we need to raise like 500K. Where do we go? We went to Plug and Play. They invested in all competitors we have. They are InsurTech. They are one of the leading InsurTech acceleration programs in the world. And whatever we show on our slides, they invested in all of them, and all of them are unicorns. So we cannot take money from them. We went to Aloka Ventures, conflict of interest, because they invested in Depositus. I don't see their conflict of interest, but they said so. And Sturgeon Capital, for example. Sturgeon Capital invests starting from 500K, right? But they are not industry. They say that they're industry agnostic, but they are not. If you see their chart where they invested, they lent money because Orient Swiss, Zudmol, they lent money to as a microloan, and it's foreseeable money, so you can at least calculate with some degree of probability that you will get this money back. So they invest with super little risk. So where do we go? We go to Kazakh brothers. When you go to Kazakh brothers, they give priority to their Kazakh brothers. But when Kazakh brothers come to Uzbekistan, Uzbek brothers give priority to Kazakh brothers. This is how hospitable we are in Uzbekistan. So this is the third one. And fourth,
also said that no any good startups from Uzbekistan.
Yeah, they have opinion. I respect that. So fourth, we have a problem that why people that traveled abroad, they have wider horizon because they have a benchmark at least to compare. So one of the problems in Uzbekistan that startup founders cannot see or cannot vision the success. That's why we need to pack them and send them to many places like Silicon Valley, because they need to see that if you do the startup, you can make money, you can be billionaire, you can make something work. In Uzbekistan, we don't have so many success cases. Arzon Apteka, yes, 1 million. Uzum, I don't consider them as a unicorn. Give me 100 million today, tomorrow I'll be unicorn. 10x multiplicator, so it doesn't work that way. That's why I think in Uzbekistan, we still don't have success cases. Ilyas Trebulaev says in the venture mindset and in his research, on average, it takes about 6.6 years for a startup to be unicorn. So the question, when did we start in Uzbekistan? Like 2-3 years ago. That's why maybe we don't have those success cases. And the fifth point I want to mention today, that many governmental organizations are doing the same thing, and they are not collaborating. I'm not talking about the IT park. Because of the IT park, I recently attracted investment 100K because they sent our pitch deck to one venture scout. Some other companies, they are not collaborating. Why? Because of the ego. Everybody wants to say that they are first. Maybe it's in our DNA, because we're all first. We don't have second place. We don't have third place. And they need to collaborate. They need to platform. so that they can not only speak, because we speak, we leave, we have a coffee, and then we return to our jobs, and that's it. So this is the problem I see. And the 6th point, I'm from Bukhara. I don't end with 3 points. So 6th point, there is not enough PR in Uzbekistan for startups. So what is the most desired two sports, let's say? First is chess, second is boxing. Why? If you see the media coverage of chess and boxing, it's a two leading, let's say, donors and sponsors in telecommunication. So what is the percentage of media coverage of startups? Not even 0.001%. Why? If nobody knows about startup, if nobody knows about that, if you do the startup, you can be successful. I think
we are open at Pivot Uz, so working with TechCrunch, and these two companies also will help with our global awareness.
In terms of problems, yeah, active X startup here, X, as you said, that there's no X startup like kind of thing. So in terms of problems, yeah, there's said a lot of things. I think some funding issue, but not maybe crucial issue, because there's actually funding here. There is funding, but the problem is even the Star Ventures. I mean, I heard about this program. I think there's a PR issue, number one. Like, I don't know how many people heard about Star Ventures. I think it's a PR problem. And second problem is all those programs and startup funding are made like a competitions. Everything is in Uzbekistan is like competitionalized. I don't know how to call it. I mean, there is no way, if you have an idea today, to go and get, like, I don't know, just like as you said, 10K. It should be a badge in plug play. Actually, it's always like a badge. It's like a President Tech Awards. It's always some kind of challenge. Like, no, I don't need challenge. I need 10K today. I don't need them in 5 months. I don't want to compete with somebody. Like, give me a small amount of money, but today. Can we do it? No, it's impossible. There's no any bank in Uzbekistan that can give you a loan 10K today for your business. Like, no way. Like, just 10K. I'm not asking about millions, because even if your business model is proven, like funding, when we say about venture funding investment, it's usually when you need to raise money for something, like for some innovation, R&D, whatever. You have the guys made this research, which great research. Number one, what is the number one in terms of this startups? It's edtech, right? Edtech. It's absolutely not capital intensive business. You can rent yourself one room, or you can just make a recording. But what they need marketing money, target money. So you have to sell, like buy advertising on Instagram. You buy $1,000 of advertising today, you get back like $2,000 back usually. But where to get that? This is a real problem for small businesses that don't want to be startups. They just want to make money, right? So I think that's how we became a startup. You learn how to make money first, and then you go to fundraising, all that stuff. So the problem is no way you can get small amount of money without competitions, without how much time any of your programs have to review, like 3 months. Like, I submit to any program here, I get reply in 2 months. I'm going to be dead in 2 months because I don't have money for rent or for advertisement. But I'm a real business. I'm doing money. I can make money. So that's why there's no way you can apply today for something. Like, the only thing we found recently, my guys found, is IT Bilim. They're giving like up to 300 million sumu loan, but still there's a commission. It's like 2-3 months potentially. It's not like 15 days or so, but at least it's better. It's pretty fast. But I mean, the speed you can get money for your startup. I don't. It's not about how much money, but the speed. I think we are maybe one of the slowest country in the world in terms of speed of getting money. Because even if you President Tech Awards, for example, so even if you're selected as the first person, like is the winner, how long it will take, how much paperwork it takes? I mean, until you get the money. I mean, maybe AI landscape going to destroy your business already before you're going to get money. So that's why the speed is super. I think a huge problem. So, and my suggestion was like for last 5 years, minimize the amounts of checks. Don't invest 100K because, as you said, we don't have problem with 100K. We have problem with 10K for many startups. Minimize the amount of checks, but make it fast, like super fast, as fast as possible. Because smart guys, there's 2 people in the team. They sit in their basement. They don't need a lot of money, but they need like minimal amount of cash to like run advertisement. I don't know, something like at least something. So I think this is sad that we can that there's no startup that can get 10K loan, for example, like interest. No, I'm not saying interest-free loan, but at least with some like special startup interest loan and fast. Like I don't know why. I don't know what's the problem of loan. I get the grants, I get the VC. It's hard, like you have to measure. But what's the problem with loan? Like they're gonna pay it back. Like he gonna sell his flat. It's not a problem, right? So there's no bank in Uzbekistan, as I know. Prove me if I'm wrong, because I tried it a couple times, that can give you a loan for business without any, how we call this?
Yeah.
It's about collateral, without car, without real estate, but just
collateral.
Yeah. There's no bank. Name me any bank that's going to give you startup operational fund, 10K, for example, without collateral. No way. It's crazy. Like, why? Like, and at the same time, I can buy myself a TV for 10K without collateral in the store. Like, how it's possible? Like I recently bought like $2,000 TV at Credit Asia with nothing. I just came, showed my face, and took away TV. Like, and this is weird. So I think the speed of money is more important than the amount of money. And everything we have in Uzbekistan is super over-regulated. Like it's like too much. And the smartest guys, they're gonna really make business. They don't gonna fill the paperwork. Half of those programs say here. So if you're a real deal guy, like perfect example, like college dropout, like the perfect startup guy. Like imagine Steve Jobs. Would Steve Jobs do all this paperwork? No. Why? Why would he? So like I think still it's a huge vacuum, like small checks with zero friction. I think that's the biggest industry problem right now.
Many curse words were filtered using AI right now. Thank you.
It's not working.
Yeah, working.
It's working. Yeah, according to slowness, yeah, it's very slow, due diligence and all that thing. So we will make check size from 10K, and biggest check size will be more than 500K for the next fund. And we are discussing with fund of funds that will be multiple stage investment. 2 million venture investments also will be from private equities, and we are discussing it. So I think more and more stage at the beginning from 10K to up to 2 million also will be available in 1.5 years. We are striving. We are doing real distortion field with our friends. Yeah, according to slowness, we should more try to allocate money from angel investors. So in 6 months, we have seen that entrepreneurs are ready to invest in startups. 800K is through Startup Garage. We invited them. We have done the pitching, and they're also ready to burn their money for the startups. And it's a cultural question. This year we will do several M&A acquisitions, exits, and I think it's possible after some success cases, but it takes times. So, for example, my colleagues in Surkhandarya and Karshi, 2 of angel investors ready to invest. For example, one of our portfolio startups in garage, and I think it's matter of time. Thank
But
you
the
for your
problem with
feedback.
problem
Thank
with
you feedbacks. Yeah.
Yeah, problem with equity and angels is if I'm a small startup guy, I don't want to give anyone equity because I know the equity
Yeah,
in the beginning
yeah.
is super cheap.
Yeah.
So the best way for smart guy, which
Yes.
the best guy to invest in, right?
Yeah.
He would prefer take a loan. He's gonna prove his model. He's gonna find his PMF. He's gonna do
Yeah.
his work, and he knows what I'm gonna prove my business model. If I'm gonna start to sell, I will have I'm going to be not this cash positive, but I'm growing. He knows that that's when you want to make this equity deals. You don't want to make this at the first stage because you're going to lose 50% of your business, which makes no sense, right? So fast money means usually zero equity money. So it's like a loan. I don't know, some sort of structures. But I'm happy that IT Park actually running this 300 million SUM loans this year, although they require prior incubation, which is already a pain. So if you never incubated, you don't have access to that money, which is also a problem because you first have to spend half a year in the incubation programs, acceleration program, and then apply to again, the speed is like 1 year. Like this is the problem. So
Sure.
I wouldn't never suggest any beginner take an equity deal, which usually it's sad story always. If you don't have sales, at least some traction, right? It's always a cheap deal, which discourage many startups.
I think this 300 million is roughly 25K also is not venture debt. Actually, venture debt
it's just that.
very high in most
low
venture
interest,
in Kazakhstan.
low interest rate debt.
It's
but
lower.
It's loan, yeah. But the problem is IT Park's loan requires prior incubation or acceleration. This startup should be previously incubated or accelerated, which meant this startup already lost half a year of their life. Yeah. So
for example,
I agree with them. I agree for them. They want to minimize the risk, but we're going to give money to this Westminster student that has a brilliant idea and maybe can capitalize in 1 year, like without any equity. So these guys, my biggest concern.
Yeah, for example, with Uzcard, we see we done Didi, one of our local startups. It took 2 months, and he went New York and San Francisco in one coffee shop. He received the money, 200K in one coffee shop. Yeah, it's a cultural question, and I think.
Yeah, so the only way you can do it right now, if you believe in your startup, is take 49% loan from TBC or something like this. I don't know. I mean, but it's hard. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, so we close to the closing of the event. So if we have some comments, maybe we can hear 1, 2 last comments or yeah, please, Osman. Okay.
Just a quick one, if I may allow. Thank you for organizing this event and inviting. Just wanted to comment that if we want to work with the startups, you know that there are 3 level startups, the idea level, MVP, and the growth level. So we have to concentrate, as colleagues mentioned. I think the most suffering level is the idea level and the MVP level. So we'll concentrate on those levels because on the growth level, there are enough attention, money, experts, and all that kind of stuff. And then if we want to really have a good projects, then we better have a concentrated effort on sectoral tracks. For example, not just overall acceleration program announcing like Plug and Play and others announcing just overall, but sometimes Plug and Play does concentrate on selected tracks. But if we concentrate on specific sectoral issues, then we might have better results maybe. And then, as my colleagues mentioned, that the higher education institutions might be a good starting point for good quality project initiatives in terms of startups. And then, as they also mentioned, that the regions are left behind. There are several million population cities like Namangan and Samarkand. There's zero activities on startups basically in the region. So I agree with my colleagues. And we should have some free courses and platforms like pitching, like Pizza Pitch. My colleagues are doing a great job. And then probably some mentorship platforms as well, like a Pizza Pitch. And then some free educational platforms, just ordinary to teach them CASDEV and unit economics kind of stuff. And as my colleagues also mentioned, I just want to highlight that there's a Founder Institute approach on ranking the city startup ecosystems. So instead of Startup Blink or Genome, I think it's better to use the Startup Founder Institute's city ranking. In that case, you could really compare what Almaty or Astana and Tashkent can compare to each other, or even inside Uzbekistan, you can compare the Fergana to Samarkand and to Tashkent, and that's why you just organize the competition in between them, so better to draw attention. And I have some of my additional comments here I printed out in Uzbek and Russian, and I can leave behind for you if you like. Thank you.
So, but we have free. Who else? Just free? Okay, but short, please. Okay, please, Aziz Bek.
It's gonna be complicated, but I will try. So I spotted that there is a big problem in our market. Startup founders cannot pitch; they are not able to pitch. That's why I'm starting a pitch course, and I want to make it free for founders. That's why I need a sponsor that will pay on behalf of startups. It's a ready material. It's an intensive program, 30 days. I'm many times pitch competition winner. I know how to win, and I know apparently how to communicate. And if you're interested, please let me know. Thank you.
You're a good pitcher for sure. I can, I can convince it. And the second one, please. Present yourself.
Yeah,
please.
good afternoon.
Name.
Yeah, I apologize for being late. My name is Shojo Hon. I'm an assistant coordinator of Business Incubation Center at Management Development Institute of Singapore in Tashkent. So I agree with Mr. Azbek that there is no PR in startup incubation programs. But recently we launched a startup incubation program, and the outcome was that the 6 projects came from this program. So we concluded that we need to popularize the startup things and launch the academia and industry collaboration. It came from the UNDP special training program. So we are open to for collaboration, and now we are collaborating with the IT Park and with the IT Park Ventures, and we did a lot of things together. So I recommend you to do more collaboration to achieve big results. So that's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. It's good that we have people from universities as well, from business incubation. And Nur Islam, also, by the way, the winner of President Tech Award.
Yes, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Nur Islam Bek, co-founder of Oygul. So I just wanted to point out that we need to focus more on the universities, because abroad in the Silicon Valley and other well-developed startup ecosystems in the world, they mainly focus on the universities, such as Stanford, Harvard, etc. And I think that Startup Garage should focus on the universities instead of like mahallas. That would be much more, let's say, beneficent. So that would be my last suggestion. Thank you.
It's not mahalla, it's a matter of money, and but government is giving money to mahalla, and we are using this. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say that is two different models. The one model that you are highlighting is very important, but at the same time, Mahala experiences also use it in other countries, including Korea, for example. It's quite a developed methodology that could show some good results. And let's see after several years what kind of achievements we could get together. If there's no questions or comments, I just would like very short say a short speech before we close. Thanks a lot. I think that today was event very productive, very informative for all of us, taking into account that all of us are from the same boat. So we change it with information, we change it with knowledge, we change it with data. Thanks a lot to all speakers, to IT Park Ventures, Ilhom, Davron Aka, and to all people who contributed in discussion. And of course, a lot of thanks to EBRD for initiative for this program. We hope that next presentation about Star Ventures Uzbekistan will be one of the country where activities are ongoing process, and we from our side, and I'm absolutely sure that all of us are ready to collaborate together on that. Thanks a lot. Bye.